everybody.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Well, let's start the insanity.
Hello and welcome to the Weekly Act. It's Mac with Randy.
What's up?
And a new person.
Hello.
Who is this new person here?
My name is Mel.
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 But you're not a male, though.
No.
You're a female.
I'm female.
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 That should be your name.
Yeah.
We call you female. Bingo, shut up.
Female.
There's Bingo's excited. There's double the people here. Double the pleasure today.
Double the fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been getting lots of loving from Bingo since I walked in the door, which is fine.
Bingo's a nice guy.
He's pretty cool.
So what are you doing here? What is this?
Well, I was told. Well, I guess I was
Forced.
Well, I was hinted that there was a little bit of a sausage fest on the Weekly Yak, and I was told that I need to come and hang out, and I'm down for hanging out. So here I am. You now have a female.
Oh, yes.
We don't know what we're gonna have to be cleaner and politer.
You obviously don't know
just
this
still
one.
be the assholes that you are. We'll be just fine.
It's fun.
If anything, she's going to be the dirtiest amongst us.
All right.
That's probably true.
Make sure you stay on mic there.
Oh, sorry.
Don't go off axis.
Gosh.
You don't want to You don't want to be here.
Yeah,
You don't want to
yeah.
be here. You want to be right in the sweet spot.
Sorry, I wasn't. I guess
Do you have trouble finding the sweet spot sometimes?
Guess I got to deep throat it around you guys. Sorry.
That's what I always say. Those microphones, you got to go at it like you're just gonna, just think about pretend you're somewhere else and just take it.
Wow.
That's it. All right. So tell us about yourself in a minute or less.
Wow. Well, I grew up in this area, left like most people. I was like, I'm never coming back this shithole. And here I am. I've been here almost 5 years and do a lot of non-profit-y things and work in the art scene and teach a little on the side too. So I have a variety of stories and fun times to share. Also, apparently I have a vagina, which is helpful for you guys. So,
Yes.
I mean,
Where did you go to?
What do you mean?
You left and came back.
Oh, I went to West Texas, not West, Texas, but the actual
The western part of
the
Texas.
western part of Texas, and
Marfa. That's
Not
my
that-
favorite city. I just like that name.
Marfa.
Not
Wow.
not that west.
Okay.
But I realized, ooh, this is shitty, and here I am. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
yeah.
Turns out there's not much that happens in the west area of
And
Texas.
you hit it right exactly
Yeah.
a minute. Good job.
I know my time.
But you guys know each other.
Yeah.
From
We do. We go back. Well, besides the fact that we work together on a daily basis.
Well,
Dun,
now,
dun.
but before.
Yes,
Yeah.
we've been doing some theaters together.
The
We've been
theater.
doing some comedies. We've been doing
Yeah.
some Rocky Horrors. And
Yeah, Mel is the director of the Rocky Horror Picture Show Shadowcast that I do on the reg.
What's the name of that
Waco
group?
Warp.
Waco Warp.
Waco
Yeah.
Warp.
Shout out Waco Warp.
Hey,
That's
any
the only
warpers?
thing in Waco I will give a shout out to is that.
Thanks, man.
Anything else Waco is
Nothing else?
abysmal.
Not a single other thing.
Well, this show.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is in Waco. I mean,
Yeah,
the name,
that's
it's not
true.
in the title,
That's
but
true. Well,
yeah.
Surprise, we're in Waco if you didn't know that.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Well, remember I told you we're trying to get all these other Waco podcasts are gaining more traction, and I'm like, I've been doing this for 10 years in this town.
It's because we don't talk about Waco, which is fine.
But 10 years ago, nobody gave a shit about Waco.
that's true. I mean, I've lived here almost my whole life, and I never give a shit about it. And so, here
Well, when
we
I
are.
first started, I made it a point to hide that we were.
Yeah.
I said we were in Texas, but that was it.
Don't
I didn't
ask,
want
don't
anybody to know.
tell.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the old gays in the military.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like the gays in the military in the 90s. Don't ask, don't tell.
right.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
But I mean,
But now it's
there wasn't really anything to
Randy
be
just
proud of.
tells.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Yeah.
Nobody asks
I
him
don't
if
give a
he's gay.
fuck.
Yeah, you just have a shirt that says
Gay. As
Gay.
fuck.
No, just gay.
Yeah,
He
it's in
doesn't
rainbow
have to
font.
tell. I mean, people just look at him and go, "Oh,
That dude's gay.
It's fucking
Yeah.
queer.
yeah."
Do people really say that? Oh, not.
Not to my face.
Okay.
Unless they're ready to throw the fuck down.
I mean, we are in a red state after all.
This is
so,
true.
You know,
Yeah, yeah.
they try to fix you.
they did once upon a time.
Conversion therapy.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
And then I know Randy from the theater, but not. I never did anything with you. I don't think.
No, but we have
Anything.
mutual friends, so
Yes.
it's a 6 degrees of separation.
Right. I would see you. I would go to as a patron. I would go to the things you were at. I was never in anything.
Yeah.
Any production.
Yeah.
Because yeah, you're
But
always
here
so.
we
Yeah.
Here we all are together
I
at
know.
last.
We need the chipmunk voice for me to go.
Yeah, right. That was. I love it. You were just so like. You just. I don't know. I don't know what the word is for that. You're like, yeah. Just you just had epiphanies or something.
Oh my god! Just something about
That's
hearing
always fun.
yourself as a chipmunk voice. You're like
Did
instantly
you hear
a
that
5-year-old.
show? Did you listen to that
Oh,
one?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
We
I
had
did
way too much fun.
Yeah, it went on for a really long
It
time
did.
too.
Too
Yeah.
long? I think if we would have ended it like right after, just earlier than we did, it probably would have been good.
Yeah, but we thought bringing an extra person into the mix might change things up and make it a little more interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe keep us.
I don't think
on
that's,
track
is it
a little more.
possible to make it more interesting?
I
It's
think you got a
pretty
point.
interesting.
You got a point.
No, I'm not
It's
interesting
just
for
the
shit.
cherry on top of the icing of the cake.
Hey.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Not to say, that I'm a cherry because that's been gone for a while.
Hey.
Ew. I thought if someone's got to make a female joke and a vagina joke, it'd be me.
It might as well be you.
Yeah.
It's better than me making it.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Randy, because he doesn't know.
You don't know that.
The conversion therapy, I forgot.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Here's a woman. Did they just put you in a room with a woman? They lock the door and just hope,
Yeah, just
okay,
like-
just hope something
They
happens.
came back. I'd braided her hair. I'd cut her
Right, yeah.
bangs.
They're like, no. That's not right.
They're like, that French braid is on point, though.
Yeah.
It was a whole makeover experience.
It was.
Yeah. Anyway, that wasn't interesting.
Whatever.
No, I mean, I didn't have it. We talked about making it interesting, and that wasn't interesting.
Yeah.
No, I'm blaming me too. So, what's going on this week?
I don't know about y'all. It's been a week.
Yes.
It's only Tuesday.
I know, but
It's been gross weather.
It has been. It's been pretty gross. I recently have had to go through some nonsense that I'm so glad is over. Mel knows all about this because I was updating her every step of the
You
way.
mean you have a story
I
for
do.
the show?
I do.
Son of a bitch.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh. Okay.
Oh my god. I'm going to isolate that. I got to get that as a drop later, and then whenever you have something I don't expect, I'm going to play your.
There you go.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh, I thought it was going to be the son of a.
Sort of a.
Oh, or that.
We'll
That way,
see.
I'll have enough drops where you don't have to talk eventually. I'll just play all these sounds and
Just
stuff.
the Randy-isms to
Yeah.
throw in there.
We'll just have a Randy soundboard and do that. Okay, anyway.
So what had
Your
happened?
terrible news.
Yeah. What had happened? So as I've talked about before, I used to be a teacher. And a few years ago, when I was student teaching at a school in the DFW area, there was a kid. This was spring of 2016, so 3 years ago. There was a kid there, and this kid was a freshman and is now a senior, I believe. And
I
this,
think you told the story last time.
no.
Oh, there's more.
Oh, there's more to it? Well, you said he contacted you. And
Yeah,
Or did
so-
you tell that off the air? I don't remember. You told me that the beginnings of it. There's more to it now?
Well, there is more to it.
Okay,
since
well,
last
go ahead
we
and do
met.
the whole thing, because I
Okay.
can't remember if it was on or off. So.
Because I don't either now.
Okay.
So this kid contacted me and said, "Hey," so this kid is a senior now. Throughout the years since I was at this school, he had tried to add me on Facebook and he'd sent me messages, and every time I deleted the messages and ignored the
And he
friend
was your
request.
student. He was in your class?
I mean, it
Or-
was a boy student. He was.
That's what I said.
Oh, I thought
I
you
said
said he, and then I thought you said or her.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Well, it's got to be he, right?
I heard or her too.
Okay, so I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
No, he was in, oh, whatever. I don't know. Okay, sorry.
He was, and he kept messaging me, and I have just the policy on my own that I don't add students until they've at least graduated. high school.
That's a good policy.
Exactly. And so I always ignored him because I figured he was still in high school, and also he was kind of annoying, and I probably wouldn't have added him anyway.
Just as a person.
Yeah,
Just
but
not
this was
somebody you
not a
want on
kid that I interacted with much because when I was at the school during the day, it was in the afternoon. His class met in the morning. I never really interacted with him. But he added me on Instagram, and he sent me a message, me not realizing that it was him, and he sent a selfie, and in the selfie, he's like not wearing a shirt.
Of course.
And I was like, bro, I'm not going to say his name. How he was basically like hiding his identity when he first messaged me and interacted.
Right.
And I was like, how old are you? Because in my mind, I'm like, okay, if you're 18, I can just ignore it. If you're 17, I might have to like take action against this. And he's like, 17, finally legal. What the yeah, so gross. So basically it had to be like, I have to draw a line with former students. I'm not interested in continuing this conversation. I'm not comfortable with it. Please don't message me again. And I blocked him and kept screenshots. And I thought that would probably be the end of it.
CYA, good. But no.
On Valentine's Day.
Oh, the most romantic day.
On Valentine's Day, I guess he was lonely.
As a lot of us are. It's totally understand.
And
I almost messaged you on Valentine's Day because I was lonely too. But no.
Oh, but no.
Yeah.
Oh, so sad.
Okay.
But he adds me on Snapchat. And I do not realize that this is him again. And I should have because it was a similar name as before from Instagram, but I wasn't even thinking of it. And he sends me a friend request. I accept it, assuming that it's someone that I know, and I'm going to figure it out within a couple of messages. So I accept him. I say, hey, what's up? Immediately, I'm sent a video of him performing fellatio on someone. So immediately blocked.
So it's everyone who's gross, not just guys sending dick pics to girls.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's everyone.
Everybody.
Gays send
Yeah, unsolicited, unprompted. It was not pleasant. So I immediately...
I've never thought that was a good idea.
I'm glad.
Who thinks it is?
So many.
I mean,
men.
I know, yeah, but it's like, I don't know. I mean, I'm reluctant to send it if I'm dating somebody and they're like, hey, send me a thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, but still,
you're not
the
comfortable with it so
lighting's
much.
not right, or
Need a professional. I've got a good photographer.
Okay,
It's me.
There's a whole comedian, I can't remember who it is, that does a thing, and maybe Leslie Jones, that's like, if a man, if women make the first move on a social media, it's like, hey, how are you? And like conversational, and it's going to be a long time before you like even get a face pic, more or less like tits or anything else.
because
And
even
then-
that seems like I've noticed. Hey, send a selfie. It's almost offensive,
Right.
But
And
I do it because like there's a lot of robots on
that is
the
true.
dating stuff. I'm like, is this a real person? But I guess maybe women have got it where guys are just being gross or just want pictures for being a weirdo.
And obviously I'm I'm an old married woman, but still I'm thinking like if
Well,
you're like
listeners don't know that.
well,
You are married.
But I'm just saying like
Yeah.
send a selfie to me. It's just like, oh, send a selfie, but not like your dick right away. And normally it's like
Dick selfie.
You're like, hey, how's it going? And then it's like dick pic. And it's like, whoa.
Because that's 0 to 60. It's not
Yeah.
even. It's just your,
Yeah, it's just like I
your
want to know.
opener. You're just
Are
like,
you a real person? Not like, do you have a penis? Well, I'm gonna guess you do, but I don't need to see it right away.
I don't need photographic proof. You can just tell me you do, and
Yeah.
that's good enough.
Yeah.
So anyway, I had to get.
But
the
that's
school
not even
involved.
just a picture. It's a video of a sex act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So anyway, I had
You
to. I immediately like called his band director and was like, "Here's the deal.
Right. You
Here's
can't let
what's
that
going on."
simmer. You got to get
No,
right on it.
and talk to him. And it's been now taken care of. And the kid has been like, "I made a mistake. I'm sorry."
Oh, okay.
I own
I'm
up
glad
to
you
like
didn't lie about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and even if he had, I had documentation. I had my I
Even
had
the
those-
first time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I screen capped everything.
Wow.
But it's just a big sigh of relief that it's finally over.
Well,
I
because
don't
it's
have to deal
all.
with that.
Because I mean, how easily he could have spun it
Yeah,
to be you that started it if you
Definitely.
hadn't kept
exactly
everything. Because once someone's caught, then they just
I mean, and thankfully, I'm not teaching anymore.
Oh yeah.
So, like-
that helps.
Yeah,
But what happened to the days of the whole like go back to like the police and Sting and "Don't Stand So Close to Me" to the, as a teacher to the student. Now it's like, "Don't send me dick pics."
How much of that can we sing without like breaking the copyright?
I think it's like 10 seconds, maybe.
Don't send dick pics to me.
Okay, that's all.
Yeah.
But you changed the lyrics. It's all right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Weird
Then it
I
goes
play
into our
copyrighted
territory.
music on here all the time.
That's true.
Yeah. There you go.
We're not
It is
making any
karaoke
money.
version. We're all right.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad it's all. I mean, not
Yeah.
good you went through it, but I'm glad it's all resolved
Yes.
now.
Ugh.
I've thankfully never had anything like that. I mean, because well, I was going to say a bunch of examples from our school, but I won't do that because that's not what I'm going to get too honest here. But it's just like, it's never like me and Yasko, we say, it's real easy not to do a student. We just don't do it. Like you just
every
don't.
day.
Yeah, every day I don't have sex with a student.
Yeah.
It's real easy
Yeah.
to not do it.
I don't have sex with lots of people every day.
Right? Yeah,
Most people that I come across, I
Yeah.
only think about having sex with them.
that's okay. Well, because it's all this, like, I mean, it's more guys that will, have, like all the Me Too people, all the Me Too guys that they just can't control it, or, well, maybe not that. It's just that they are sociopaths, I guess, and they just love to control. And
Yeah.
I mean, I think Harvey Weinstein, didn't he say he was a sex addict? Didn't he go to rehab or something, like right when it first?
Did he?
I think he went over to like England or something and did it. But,
Oh, that's probably him just trying to get away from the cops,
Yeah.
so he doesn't have to be
Get
arrested.
out of paparazzi and
And it's so
Yeah.
every time I see his name on a movie, I'm like, I forget. I
That's
forgot how
unfortunate.
many movies that I mean, he was.
yeah, I saw. So I'm a big Kevin Smith fan, and I was
Nice.
watching. They just started shooting. He just started shooting his new movie, which is like a Jay and Silent Bob Mallratsy. Like it's a Kevin
It's a
Smith
Kevin
film.
Smithy film.
It's a Kevin Smith film.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is the first one that's not been under Harvey Weinstein. Because, Harvey was his champion and he's the reason Kevin Smith has all this money.
Right.
But, Kevin Smith with a, very intelligent wife and a daughter is like, dude, no.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
it's been kind of
But
weird.
you
to
know that
see
he would have eventually Kevin Smith would have been discovered eventually.
yeah.
So it's not like, I mean, it just sucks that that's who he
Yeah.
he started with. But
Yeah. So anyway, it's pretty interesting to see this process of a new like studio and him going through this whole thing. And it's because our world is different.
Mm-hmm.
Good, bad, or ugly.
should it, how, well, since you're a lady, like, what do you think? I mean, is it like, okay, so let's talk about, I know we usually do.
What is your opinion on behalf of all women?
No.
Ooh.
You speak for all of them. Well, because Randy speaks for all the gays. You speak for all the
So I
women.
speak for all the women.
I don't speak for anyone because I don't know anything. No, because normally we talk about current events in the second half, but so this is kind of the same, any kind of injustice, racially, well, not sexually, but like sexism or whatever. So the guy from Empire.
Oh,
Yeah.
So-
that was going to be the other like current. That was going to be my
That-
celebrity thing that I talked about.
Oh, well, sorry. But I'm
I mean,
saying
no, it's
like,
fine.
because they were they were saying, so with this guy, they investigated it first and then they realized that he was lying.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of just immediately, siding with him and believing it, because people were saying they shouldn't be, people of hate crimes or sexual abuse or whatever, shouldn't be believed immediately, but listened to immediately.
Yes.
So not immediately believed 100%, but not ignored. Because, I mean, it used to be ignored. I mean, it
Yeah.
was ignored or just not, they held it in and didn't talk about it. So, I mean, is that true? I mean, is that agreeable? I mean, you guys...
I think it is based in, without dragging the name of the university in this town that's going through a very
it's
similar
not hard to
thing.
figure. I don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
I mean, I think that's so true because, I mean, a lot of those women that had been assaulted or whatever, a lot of times they didn't know what to do. And they went straight to like on-campus services. And I'm not talking about health or police.
Right.
And they were like, pray for me that this happened. And there's only... Sometimes the law has to take in, not just
Right.
God, and
That's what they're
why
doing
we're-
with the Catholic Church. Did you hear about
Yeah.
that? Where they're going to have them. It can't. I know you're Jewish.
I'm completely independent of that. Just this shit with the Catholic Church. Is
Well,
what
now
I mean.
they're gonna.
Yeah.
They want it. It's in law. It's not. They're gonna handle it internally. Now it's got to be as soon as they hear some abuse,
Yeah.
you got to bring in the secular law
Yeah.
and not just have it.
And
Oh, I
that's,
didn't realize
I think that was the
Yeah.
problem previously too, is that, you know, a lot of it was done on campus. And as, you know, I have been a college professor at different universities in the past. And the first thing you're taught as a college professor is it needs to go off campus. Like
Right.
you need to get the law involved and not the campus law. And
Just
none
to
of those
save
things
face
were
or
done.
just to
Yeah.
publicity.
Save
to keep
your ass and save the university and not just your personal ass,
Well,
but
I
the
don't.
university's
Why do
ass.
they think that it's? I mean, if you're a huge university, I mean, it's. I guess they think it looks bad that happens, but there's so many kids. You can't. I mean, that just. You can't makes it seem like maybe they don't have control of their campus or whatever. I don't know what they think, the way they don't want bad publicity. I mean, it would be bad no matter what, but I mean, you just kind of have to be like, well, this is happening, so we got to. It doesn't do the right thing and not worry about.
Yeah.
If people found out that was happening and it got out, but that they were doing it the right way, I don't think that it would be that bad. It's worse when they cover it up or try to hide it, and then it comes out.
Yeah. I got one of my degrees is from a university that is a public school here. And I never forget going to like do my financial aid or whatever and going into that like, student affairs building. And when you got off the elevator, they had a sign that said, you go in the beginning of the semester and it would be like, you know, so far this semester, 5 students have been expelled for drugs, or 10 students have been caught for, you know, sexual assault, or blah, blah, blah. It would be low numbers or zeros even. And then you go like at the end of the semester so you can register for the next semester, and it'd be like, this semester, 50 students have been caught with rapes on campus.
Jesus.
And like,
Oh my gosh.
and like 65 students have been caught with drugs or alcohol and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh my God, this is where I'm going to school. But thank God I was only getting my master's degree. So I was stuck in like, you're stuck in one building,
Yeah.
and I didn't go to campus parties like that. So I'm super glad, but that was so terrifying to like get off the elevator and see all this going on. You're like, oh my God, where am I? Let's just get out.
Was that more in the vein of they were like, yeah, look at all the terrible shit that happens on our campus? Or was it more like, we take this super seriously?
They did take it super seriously. And at the bottom, I forgot to say, it would say something like, don't be next, or something like that. Like,
Oh
just
my
as
God.
How
a warning,
ominous.
a warning, like all these students got busted for this, that, and the other, and don't
Sorry.
you be one of them.
Wow.
My bad.
But like going back to what you said about like being believed versus being taken seriously, I think that is the big disclaimer, just because as someone, you know, not to get too far into it, someone who like does have a past with like sexual violence, not everyone that accuses someone needs to be believed right away, but they all do need to be taken seriously right away. And like that's the same thing, whether you believe someone or not, investigate it, because either they're telling the truth and the person that attacked them needs to face charges, or they're lying and they themselves probably need to have something brought against them.
Well, I think what happened was for so many years, it got just out of whack because so many years of not being listened to at all.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, here's all this shit. Then they just go straight to believing everybody. Like there was never a middle. Either you hide it, you don't talk about it at all, and now you believe everybody and just condemn whoever's. So we got to get a middle ground, like where you listen. So can any of these guys, you know, not Bill Cosby or anybody, but some of the lesser ones, can they come back? Because Aziz Ansari did a show. Mindy Kaling on social media posted a picture of her tickets, and she had a ass load of comments about women. Just, I'm disappointed. She responded to all of them.
Yeah.
Like I took the time, and I mean, and that one is so muddled and unclear, and
when you read the accounts, it's very much he tried, she said no, and then later she said she felt violated, and he tried to reach out with her. And you know, Chris Hardwick's the same way.
Oh yeah,
his was his ex-girlfriend, and then he had all these other ex-girlfriends that were like, oh no, even his wife, but still, but like all these other ex-girlfriends are like, no, he was a gentleman and blah blah blah, this bitch crazy, you know. And and I think it depends, because there are this, I mean, if they're straight up like, you know, mea culpa and and then they have enough people that say they're decent that aren't just like male friends or female friends, but these for Aziz Ansari and Chris Hardwick, it was like their former exes were like,
Right.
oh no, this has got to be this person. And I think sometimes that's the case because I can tell you there are a lot of crazy women out there. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't be trusted, but some women are crazy. But you know what? Some men are crazy too. So I mean, it's it's the world.
all people are crazy.
Yeah.
People are just crazy.
Yeah,
So it's
true.
And I wrestle with this all the time because if someone is a drug addict or if someone goes to jail because they killed someone with the car on accident or if they are on drugs and they rob a store, not in practice, but in theory, the use of like a prison system should be reciprocity and to like rehabilitate someone. And I kind of go between that, like, this person has done their time and they need to be able to like re-enter society. And I'm also like, and I'm also in the mindset of, oh, if you're like a serial rapist, there's no redemption for you.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of dichotomy that I have currently. And maybe there's truth in both of those statements that I'm not really seeing a middle ground.
Yeah.
But I mean, and maybe that's just my own past that comes with that. But that's kind of where I am right now, where it's like, okay, where's the line drawn where you made a mistake? You should be able to eventually just be a member of society without that demonization. And also this thing that you did is super, super shitty. You should never be forgiven. And I don't really know where that line is drawn. I mean, especially when it comes to like sexual violence and
not,
assault.
Especially if you're not like, if it's not like you're not arrested. Like you're not
absolutely
taking a trial if it's just in the court of public opinion. So Aziz Ansari, so you guys think he can come back? Like,
I think he's
you speaking for all women.
Yeah, not speaking for all women, but speaking as this woman, I feel okay with it. I mean, there's been a lot of people speaking on his behalf that were women that were his exes, not just like Mindy Kaling, who was just different, like that he's got some support to say that this. And then when you read the whole thing, it was just like, she said stop, no, and he stopped.
Yeah.
And
when it first came out, it was very one-sided. And then when
was.
they released the rest of her statement or whatever, not confession, but her statement, then it kind of was like, well, I mean, I've had girls that want to do stuff and I have to say, no, it's too soon. And they're aggressive. So it's like, I mean,
that's a whole nother conversation to get into too. The whole the dynamic of if a woman is the aggressor against a straight man, that is a whole nother dynamic.
Because it's not
conversation.
It's not not law, but the opinion is not slanted that way. It's like, well, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, what are you doing? Yeah, that's a whole other, you're right. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, you read sometimes, I'm not saying that this is what happened, but if you read signals wrong, or, if you go back, if a girl comes back to my apartment willingly at night, that's one of the first signals. I'm not expecting sex for sure, but it's like, making out or, it's, why I wouldn't, if I didn't want to, if it was the other way and I went to a girl's, then that would be, at 3 a.m. at night, 3 a.m. after
as opposed to 3 a.m. in the afternoon.
3 a.m. in the afternoon. So I don't know. I try not to talk about it a lot because it's more of a women's issue and I can't really relate, but I still, I still want to discuss it, but
now that we have a lady on, we can discuss all the things.
Right.
It's like,
I just have questions.
You're here. Let me ask all these questions, burning questions.
All the things we wanted to ask.
Yeah. Well, there's been like some stuff recently that's happened, so I'm just wondering, we could speculate all we want, but it's different. Like, you're not speaking for all women, but it's just your personal opinion if you were in that situation.
Yeah. It would be hard, but I feel like, honestly, what's really sad is you look at statistics and there's lots of women that have had situations kind of like the Aziz Ansari one where it was like maybe they were making out with a guy or something, and they're like, stop, and maybe it's gone one way or the other. And that once again goes back to what you were saying, Randy, about do I believe, do we believe them or not? Because a lot of those times it's, it's easy to say, oh, she came to his house at 3 a.m. and blah, blah, blah. But, it's kind of hard for any of us to know unless we were actually there, and we're not.
Well, yeah. So. Again, I wasn't saying that gives him the right, but you would think that's a signal to go that may something may happen. I mean, if you do it and the girl's like, I'm not into this, then you stop. But I mean, I don't think, because you get nervous. I mean, and not the way the guys that get nervous who have abused women are getting nervous, but it's like, I mean, this has been a thing forever. Like if a girl has sex with you if somebody has sex with you and then they regret it later, they could say that you forced me to, because it's just the two of you. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I'd have to think that if 3 a.m. you're in the person's place and you start to make out and then they're like, no, I mean, is that enough to where they could say, hey, they were, could that, what I mean? Is that...
That's back to that gray area of, it's really...
I think you better know the person before you invite them back to your place. I guess that's just a good rule of thumb.
Yes. No Tinder right-aways.
And as far as the Chris Hardwick thing, my whole thing with that is I don't know much of Chris Hardwick or the person that spoke out against him. I just know that I have been in that place where it's where I've struggled with, do I come forward publicly about this against this person? And if I do and I face backlash and I decide to back away, am I then going to be seen as a liar for doing it? Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I think that's everybody's that's on the other end of that sphere.
Yeah. Anyway,
man,
we got super deep.
That was so deep and not lighthearted at all. Let's do some jokes.
Sounds good.
Love jokes,
so how about some headlines from the Weekly Egg News Desk?
Okay.
All right. A 9-year-old Chicago girl had an MLB licensed video game that she played at Chuck E. Cheese taunt her, saying there's always softball after she made an error while playing.
Oh, hell no.
Coincidentally, that's exactly what Florida Marlins fans tell themselves after the first month of every season.
Marlins suck.
I also get the sports reference.
Yay, good. All right. Before I say that, I stand by this joke no matter how it lands, just so you know. I stand... Texas border, it's your funeral. Mm-hmm. Texas border agents stopped a truck carrying frozen strawberries and discovered nearly $13 million worth of meth. What do you think of that? What do you think of that?
Oh, is that for real?
Yeah, that's the real part.
Oh my God.
That's not the punchline.
Dang.
The driver was quoted as saying, if they don't let me make my deliveries, Valentine's Day in Indiana will be canceled. Let me explain why that's funny. Indiana is the state with the most meth addicts in it.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So if strawberries and meth are Indianans, Valentine's Day. I don't care. I stand by that joke.
I just want to say, someone told me a long time ago that if you have to explain your joke, it's not a funny joke.
I don't know. I still stand by it.
I think I didn't know that about Indiana. I think if you had said
I should have said
Florida
Ohio.
or
yeah.
I wanted to be
Miami.
factual in my joke.
Oh, but no one knows your facts.
Tampa.
Well, y'all should be more. It's your country too.
Malibu, baby.
All right. Once thought to be extinct, the world's biggest bee has been found alive in its native Indonesia.
Oh.
Okay.
Also found alive, who was thought to be extinct, Gary Busey.
Oh, fun story. Gary Busey story. I was at Frightmare, which is like the horror Comic-Con a few years ago, and I literally bumped into Gary Busey, and it was the most terrifying thing of all time.
With his big horse teeth?
Yeah, because he bumped into me in a crowd, and he was like, oh, I'm sorry. And I was like, nightmare fuel. Anyway,
did you interact with him, really?
No, because I didn't really give a shit that he was there. I'm not like a fan. He's nightmare fuel,
you're
man.
Still alive?
Yeah, I survived, guys. I'm here.
Nice.
I'm so happy for you.
You should get his t-shirt that says, I survived my Gary Busey encounter.
Yeah.
Where were you again?
Frightmare, it's like a big Comic-Con for like horror movie people.
But in
Dallas,
in
Dallas, yeah.
Speaking of Dallas, in Oregon... Not speaking of Dallas at all. In Oregon, maybe you guys heard about this. The stranded Amtrak train with 183 passengers is finally moving again.
Oh, it's moving again. Good.
Yeah.
That's
It
good.
stopped for like 36 hours.
Yeah, passengers reported a kumbaya atmosphere during the ordeal, which is the exact opposite of the normal reaction to an Amtrak emergency of, oh my God, we're going to die! Because they derail a lot.
Yeah.
All right.
This
Got
is
that
very
joke.
true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't get the other great one. All right, let's see how this one. Thankfully last. For the second time in a week. Some of these are old because I thought we were going to do a show last week. So this one was a couple weeks ago. For the second time in a week, snow has fallen in Las Vegas. It's
cool.
snow for 2 weeks in a row. This marks the first time that this much white stuff has fallen from the Las Vegas sky since the combined Ike Turner and Aerosmith concert.
Hey.
There you go. Those are free. You can't complain because they're free. All right, so we take a break in the middle. We don't really take a break, but I pause it so we can do an ad, and then we come back. So we're really just right here.
Sounds good.
I'm breaking the fourth wall here. So you feel good so far?
So far, so
liking
good.
it.
All right. Well, good. I'm glad. I want our guests and so hopefully a regular though. Did we say that? You're hopefully going to be a regular,
I mean, I'm down
semi-regular,
to clown.
whatever that means.
I don't either.
All right. So
Not hashtag me too.
oh jeez. All right. So we'll take a break and be right back. Stick around.
You're listening to the Weekly Yak.
Oh, good for you. And how was it?
Welcome back to the Weekly Yak with Mac.
I haven't heard a hee-haw reference since I was like 10 years old living with my grandparents.
bitch.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Randy.
I'm like a Rubik's Cube. The more you play with me, the harder I get.
Well, no, see, don't try.
It's the Weekly Yak.
That true? That really true? I really want to know.
Do you want to find out?
Nah, it's all right.
We already said don't ask, don't tell. Don't.
I looked over at Melissa waiting for her reaction just because I knew what the punchline was, and she just looked at me and rolled her
That's
eyes.
Randy.
That's Randy. It's like an SNL skit, you know.
That's just Pat.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys have stuff to talk about that I don't really know, which is good.
Yeah. So,
Well, you want to finish up on the Jesse?
I mean,
Juicy? Jesse.
Jesse Smollett from Empire. I mean, the thing that my attitude towards it has been.
Well, explain in case nobody knows.
Okay,
Everyone
so
probably knows, but
at this point, if you don't know, you've been living under a rock.
just a quick.
So, he was an actor on Empire. He claimed that he was attacked a couple of weeks ago in Chicago by people who were allegedly Trump supporters and put a noose around his neck and threw chemicals on him and beat him up. And he was in the hospital and he reported this attack. Now
which is very believable in this climate.
yes,
I mean-
maybe not so much in Chicago.
Well, Chicago's got their own violence they're dealing with.
This is true, but not so much like
right. This may be Virginia or somewhere. You can see it.
if that happened in Waco, I would not be as surprised.
Dang, you're going to hurt our sponsors from Waco. We don't have any.
Rats. Anyway, so and it's now seeming as though he faked that attack and
Right.
that the people that he hired to do this were also extras on the show of Empire that he
wanted publicity, trying to
He
get.
wanted the
I think he's
publicity,
getting
yes.
wanted his contract renewed or
They
or something.
officially cut him from the show.
Oh, I
Yes.
can't imagine why.
And and
Well,
it's kind of, I
way
mean,
to
the
go.
whole thing is just,
and my
Yeah.
whole thing is I'm not going to say one way or the other if it was real, if it was
Well,
alleged.
I
if
thought they discovered.
I also
that it was
don't totally
fake.
believe the Chicago PD, but I'm not going to get into the specifics just because I haven't looked into the specifics
Right.
of this case past.
But they did what we were talking before: listened to, investigated.
Exactly.
So at least those
Exactly.
steps are there.
My whole thing has always been about this once it came out that it might have been faked, regardless of if his attack was valid or not. It does not change that like gay people and people of color are attacked specifically sometimes by Trump supporters in his stead just for being black or being queer.
Yeah.
Or for being a person of color. And that doesn't change just because this one attack that was only publicized because this person was a
Right.
public figure
Yeah.
turned out to be
But
lying
it sure
about, possibly.
but it sure gives fuel to the right wing. To
Exactly.
Every time it happens, they're like, "Well,
Which
you know.
sucks when anyone falsely accuses, because then it seemingly invalidates people who legitimately are attacked or
right,
assaulted.
yeah."
And that's been my
That's why a lot of
opinion
people
the entire time.
and for civil rights and human rights are so upset with him
Exactly.
because of that. I mean, if you just, even though it's Fox News or whatever, that's still that you don't want that
Exactly.
on, to kind of regress any of the progress.
Fuck Fox News.
And
I'll call Tommy Lauren a racist cunt on Twitter again.
There
I've done
you
it
go.
twice. I'll do it again.
I'm sure you're on her radar.
Oh, I'm sure she's paying a lot of attention to me.
On a superficial note, I really love Empire, and I really loved him on Empire, and
yeah.
his character is so good. And
Can you separate the artist?
oh
from
yeah,
the-
absolutely. But just the fact that he's now been
Well,
cut
now
off
he's
the
not
show,
on there anymore, yeah.
then it's like, oh shit, like
Yeah.
that's that's superficial. I mean, I know he did bad.
Can you
stuff,
guys
blah, blah,
watch
blah.
anything with any of the men that have been Me Too'd? Can you do that?
It depends on who it is.
So I grew up.
I think there's only one network in the whole country that bought rights the syndication to the Cosby Show. I think there's only one network in the whole country that shows that.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Like the Cosby Show was like Bill Cosby in my house growing up was beloved. Like we loved
his
him.
stand up was amazing. Like he just sat in a chair and told stories.
Yeah, and it was something
amazing.
that like a kid could me at like 7 or 8 years old could still watch and still appreciate and be funny.
And kids could watch it with their parents and both enjoy the show at the same
And
time.
I still watched it like before all this happened, like when they put them all on Hulu or Netflix or whatever. We would just watch them over and over and over and over again.
Exactly. So I mean, I loved it as a kid. That memory is kind of tainted for me now, and I wouldn't want somehow the revenue from my streaming watching that on like Hulu or whatever service to somehow go back to him. It does suck that like Felicia Rashad and the other actors on that show can't potentially get paid or that,
Yeah.
I think a couple of them still stand by him. I think Malcolm Jamal Warner does.
Well, that's a mistake.
And Felicia Rashad, I think, to a certain extent, was
really
still standing by him.
Wow.
We had a joke this weekend. We did some karaoke. Randy and I did some karaoke, and we.
To be fair, the karaoke of this person, it was free on YouTube, and it wasn't like.
Is that how the karaoke DJ was using YouTube?
No.
It was like in her living room.
Yeah, it was in my house. But
I was like, that's a shitty karaoke.
We sang "I Believe I Could Fly."
Oh, R. Kelly's.
And then I sent that to a friend, and she's like, "Oh my god, you're still listening to R. Kelly?" And I said, "Look, R. Kelly's gross. I get it. Understand he's done bad things, but that song's a banger.
Yeah.
You got to sing I Believe
the
I Could
remix
Fly."
to Ignition.
Well, I was
is hot
going to
and
say
fresh out the
every
kitchen.
time I'm going out on the weekend, if it's a Saturday night,
It's
that's
a
one of the
freaking
ones.
weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, and our singing to that song in Mel's. Sorry, our singing to that song in Mel. You have to edit that out. Our singing to that song in
Do I have
Mel's
to?
living room.
I can.
Like the royalties
Like,
from
I
that
haven't had
karaoke track don't go back into R.
Yeah.
Kelly's pockets.
So we don't feel bad about it.
Yeah.
We don't feel bad.
Like I haven't had to edit out stuff Randy said.
I'm sorry.
I know. Good job, bro.
Somebody said something last time that they said was okay, and
Yeah.
it wasn't okay.
My bad.
You guys have never heard it, but
My B.
you know how I have to. It takes like 3 days to fire this equipment back up to edit it. It's like a crank. It's like
Because really 20 minutes later, the episode was back out and it was
Right.
fine.
I'm just very efficient.
He's got like one of those little doggy treadmills. He gets, bingos on it.
Bingo. That's who's powering this whole thing right now. Yep. Anyway, so yeah, sorry that you're one of your. I don't know if he's one of your favorite characters, but he's not on there
I
anymore.
did like his character a lot.
Yeah.
And also, it's a musical show and he sings beautifully. So that sucks. But whatever. I still got my Taraji and Gabourey Sidibe. Hit me up, girl.
Is
Man,
Gabby
I
still
don't-
there on
I
that?
don't know.
Gabby's still on there. I'm
what
just
any of
in
that
case in the weirdness she hears
I
this.
love her.
Gabby, I want you to be my best friend. Just saying.
I have a crush on the girl from there that's in all the movies, like What Men Want.
Taraji P. Henson.
Yeah, I love
her. She's great.
love
She's so
her.
pretty.
I also want to be her friend, but I feel like Gabby and I are just two souls.
Did anybody
love
see What
Gabby.
Men Want?
No.
Anyway.
Not,
No.
isn't
It's on
it
my
just
list.
out?
Yeah, it came
Oh,
out
okay.
like 2 weeks ago, maybe week and a half.
I mean,
Oh.
anything that you can take from Mel Gibson
See,
and make it
that's
better.
another thing. He's crazy and an anti-Semite and everything, and it's. I mean, that movie that was a really funny movie. Like before you knew all that shit about him.
Yeah.
I mean, but
Yeah.
that's to make the sequel from the woman's point of view. That's a logical sequel to that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
No,
even
absolutely.
I think that would have happened regardless of if Mel Gibson was a creep or not. You know
And
what I
it's
mean?
been enough time. That movie came out like forever
2000
ago.
when Helen
A long
Hunt
time
was
ago.
still relevant.
Oh,
Well, she's not really
Oh.
anymore. No, not to. I wasn't trying to be mean, but she's not really.
It's-
She didn't do anything right.
Yeah.
Right now. Mad About You fame.
yeah.
You know that? Oh, you're too young.
Oh,
Sorry, it's okay.
That was part of NBC's Must See TV at one
Yeah.
point. Frasier, Mad About You, Friends,
Friends,
and You
yeah.
Hate Friends.
Will and Grace.
Will and Grace. Well, that's back.
Yeah,
They've had a good. They've had luck bringing that back.
yeah.
So anyway, what are we calling? Are you?
Well,
Are you done? Sorry, I
No,
didn't mean to-
I mean, and Justice Small.
And
That's
that's
basically
it.
what I got to say
Yeah.
about it.
Well,
That's all I have to
And
say.
that's
about
that on that.
well, I am bringing my lady bits to this podcast.
Do you
and-
want me to make you a thing for that?
Yeah, it's my lady bits.
Do you want
The
like,
Lady Bits intro sound.
Yeah, like an intro deal.
Yeah. This is my lady
Underscore.
bits, lady bit. I don't know. Yes.
Okay, we'll have something for you.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay.
So I'm going to bring you not just some lady stories, but maybe stories that are about ladies, interesting ladies, or
To be clear, not Mel's bits.
not
Not
my.
her,
well,
not her actual lady
I mean,
bits.
maybe.
my physical bits are in this room right now, but they're not going to be on.
They're not gonna be
radio.
spoken about.
Right,
I've talked
right.
about my bits.
Yeah, I'm not there quite there, but this past weekend were the Oscars, of course, and everybody's talking about them, even though none of us on this podcast watched the
Nope.
Oscars.
Nope.
They're-
Well, the Kevin Hart thing, real quick. I want
Yeah,
before
yeah,
you
yeah.
get into your thing. Is it fair, unfair? He was going to host. Didn't they went back way maybe 2009, 2010? Found
Yeah.
some homophobic tweets.
yeah.
What's is that redemption? No,
I-
I mean, he never really addressed
I think
until this came up where he wasn't going to do the Oscars. Then he said something. But
like I said earlier, I think everybody deserves some reciprocity and some time to like figure their shit out. And no one is a perfect thinker. And 2009 was way before like gay like acceptance, though it is the way it is now.
well, in African American communities, they don't handle gay. That's really
So
it's-
I've been told.
It's a lot hard. Like socially, it's hard. They don't. I mean, I'm not trying to
No.
make excuses, but it's usually
I will say, as someone that grew up in a predominantly black town, I've found that black girls and black women were extremely accepting and black men were not.
Yeah.
And that's just my own personal experience. So
And
I can't speak for the black community ever, but there's a thing that has to be said, I
That-
think, about just like toxic masculinity and like how acting hard and mean about gay people,
Right.
especially back in the day, was just to prove that you were more of a dude.
right. Yeah, not to say that that's how that's not to stereotype it, but there is a large part of their social group that at one point had harder times accepting, especially parents of people. So I mean, they didn't have a host, right? They
Yeah.
didn't have a host.
Yeah.
No host, and from what at least social media and the people, whoever the people are they felt like it ran pretty smooth, and it just wasn't missing. Or I guess when you think about the host, is really just filler. And
What
so
do
it
they
didn't
do
run
a
as long.
monologue at the end, right? Really, that's their big part.
They do a monologue or like a show opener
Yeah.
or something like that.
Sometimes
And-
they do a mashup of like parodies of the
Yeah.
big movies or
and
whatever.
all those things were done just by different people, and it seemed, I mean, from what I have read, it has flown pretty smoothly. So who
Okay.
knows? But it's Hollywood, so you never know. But so I have a couple of interesting stories that came out of that night. And the first one is talking about Emma Stone. I mean, she's amazing. And not only was she a nominee, but she's, funny and gorgeous and all these things. But a lot of people don't realize some of the things that she did on Oscars night, like she sent a bouquet of flowers and a handwritten note to one of her co-nominees, Marina de Tavera. I probably killed her name. She was nominated for Roma in that same supporting actress category. And she sent her flowers and a note just saying, like, thank you. And I'm bringing this up and some of the other stories because as we were talking about, basically we've talked about people being assholes next to each other, that,
That'll be the title of the show.
yeah. A lot of women, especially, hell, you can't watch any reality TV where women aren't tearing other women down. So I really love, like, the Oscars are like, oh my gosh, that's the pinnacle of Hollywood and the star.
All the royalty is out that
I
night.
mean, and just normally like, my shit's better than yours. And here you have this woman saying, you're awesome. And she she made her way. And then the other thing was going into her co-star, Olivia Colman, surprised everyone by winning Best Actress instead of Glenn Close. Though I had kind of watched and listened, and I wish I would have put money on it. Not that I'm a gambler, but
What movie was Glenn Close in? What was her?
No idea.
I'm bad.
Yay, talking about stuff we don't know
I
about.
Was she in Roma?
No. But anyway,
I could look it up, but nah.
that bitch did win.
Yeah.
But Olivia Colman did. And
Is Olivia Colman like a newer actress?
no, she is a British actress, so she's not as big of a star on this side of the pond as she is over there. She was in a really popular crime TV show called Broadchurch. And, she was a comedian and has done a lot of stuff. And my super excitement about her is she and I went to the same college in England.
Whoa.
Holla. And so it's like the first time.
Oxford?
No, fuck those guys.
Okay, sorry.
Cambridge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know the rivalry. I don't know
Well,
if that was-
Oxford and Cambridge are kind of like the UTNM,
okay.
Alabama, Auburn, like,
Did you get your degree from there?
I went to school over there for a while and studied theater and communications.
Theater.
Theater.
That's why you're such a good actress.
Thank you.
Because you studied in.
Yeah, I did
at
at
Cambridge.
Cambridge at Homerton College, and that's where Olivia Colman went. So shout out Homerton College, hollas.
Y'all are basically sisters.
We are. I mean, my Oscar's next, right?
What
Right.
years?
It's
What
as
years
much
were you
hers
there?
as it is yours, right?
Yeah.
What years were you there versus the years she was there?
Okay, she's older than me.
Yeah.
So she was like 6 years there. Well, she was there 6 years prior to when I was there.
Gotcha.
But fun story, fun fact, bringing it to the Oscars, Eddie Redmayne and I were there at the same time.
Hey.
But, I didn't know him. He's just some probably scarly English dude that was like, whatever, and didn't look at. And now I'm like, why didn't I make out with that dude? But whatevs. But Olivia Colman, the highlight of the night, besides of her speech, everybody's talking about is she, went through and thanked everybody, and then at the end she just looked down and said, "Oh, Lady Gaga, I love you." And it was just like, here she is, this like she just won an Academy Award for like Best Actress, and it's just like everyone's dream, and she's thanking her this and that. And then she just acts like a schoolgirl like the rest of us. And it's like,
Did she just see Lady Gaga? Because wasn't Lady Gaga in a great performance of her own?
yeah, and she was nominated
For the same category.
in the same category.
Was
so
it the
Olivia-
movie with her and Bradley?
Yeah,
Cooper?
Yes.
Star is Born.
A Star is Born. Okay.
And so, I thought that was just amazing. But the final thing I want to bring in is a little lady bit, but it also involves you guys. Is one thing that happened at the Oscars that is gotten a lot of buzz that I am a fan of. Now, let me preface this by saying I'm not a hardcore feminist, but I'm a pretty good feminist. I'll burn my bra with the rest of them. But there is a whole thing about Chris Evans, aka
Yeah.
Captain America. Regina King won a Best Supporting Actress.
Nice.
And
Love her.
I do too. And she had a long train like most women do at the Oscars, and she starts to go up the stairs and she starts to trip with her heels in her dress. And Chris Evans was on the front row and just jumped up and grabbed her arm, and as a gentleman helped her up the stage, up the stairs, so she can, win.
Yeah.
And then apparently, it melted the hearts of America and the world.
Wow.
that
I'm
he-
surprised nobody jumped in and said he was man helping or he was.
no.
Oh,
And-
good.
And apparently he did the same thing in 2015 with Betty White.
Oh, well,
And
Betty
so,
White.
yeah, that's true. But apparently it was trending on Twitter right after it happened. A lot of people are calling Chris Evans the real life Captain America.
Chivalry.
And it's chivalry, and it's so funny because there's a lot of women that may be like, "Oh, I don't need your help," and blah blah blah. But just we don't see a lot of those like gentlemanly values sometimes. I mean, here in the South is a little different, but I just love the idea that he got all of this like acclaim from just being a nice, decent human and helping someone out. And as a woman, I enjoyed that. So that's my little.
As every woman.
Yeah.
As the
every woman.
That's it. So those
I
are
thought
my
it was-
lady bits.
I
for
thought it
this
was
week.
going to be bad. I thought the next thing was going to
Yes.
say they were
And
attacking
people
her.
were so mad.
No,
Yeah.
I think it probably, and even if like a guy stumbled up the stairs and Chris Evans happened to be there, I just feel like he would have jumped up and helped a guy
Right.
do
Yeah.
the same
On
thing.
the-
He's just like a nice guy, just a
Yeah.
nice human.
And if
Yeah.
Regina King I mean, why I would ever be in the same room as Regina King, I am not worthy. But if I was at the front row and I saw anybody stepping, just like to, I mean, take out the gender, like if someone's stumbling up a flight of stairs and I'm right there, oh shit, I'm gonna
right.
help them out.
You see someone with a arm full of boxes and stuff, and it's like, oh, here, let me open the door for you.
Exactly.
Right. No, I got it.
Yeah.
But it was funny. I'm not intelligent. When I was hearing a lot about Regina King, I thought it was, I don't know what her last name is, but I thought it was the Regina somebody from Scary Movie.
Oh yeah,
Regina something else.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? She's like in the
Brenda from Scary Movie.
Yeah.
But you should never forget though that Regina King's crowning role is she's Ice Cube's sister in Friday, which is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
She doesn't sleep on her head because she don't want to mess up her hair, so she's like holding her hair up. It's so great. And she's also, I just watched it this summer, she's Janet Jackson's best friend in Poetic Justice.
Oh, wow.
And it goes on that road trip with Tupac and Janet Jackson, and she gets really drunk. And
Regina Hall.
Regina Hall,
who's also a good actress.
Yeah.
Yes.
They should do a movie with Regina King and Regina Hall, just the two of them as leads, and just confuse people.
Right. It's like Dylan McDermott and Dermot Mulroney.
Bill Paxton and Bill Pullman.
Bill Pullman,
Yeah.
Personally, Regina King, for me, her starring role is the voice of the twins on the Boondocks.
Oh, yes, I do love the Boondocks for sure.
Nice.
Jesus was black, Ronald Reagan was the devil, and the government is lying about 9/11. No! It can't be true!
That was impressive.
Thank you so much. End scene. Where's my Oscar bitch?
Regina King has
Regina
it.
King has it. She deserves
That's
it.
okay, right?
Guess
It's
we're
okay.
never going to get that Boondocks reboot
Yep.
now, right?
What movie was she in, though?
If Bill Street could talk. See, I can't tell you.
Oh, right,
what,
yeah.
I feel like I haven't seen any of the movies that got nominated. I didn't even see Bohemian Rhapsody or A Star Is Born. I'm such a bad gay.
So good. Bohemian Rhapsody, so good.
Didn't they? That was somebody. That was a joke somebody had. Like, try to strike up a conversation with your friends about the movies nominated for best. For anybody nominated for an Oscar, and see what happens. And
I got
try
Black Panther down.
Was that nominated?
Yeah, Black
They
Panther was
won-
nominated for Best Picture, and they won.
They won for best costuming.
Oh, and they
Who
won
won
Best Score. And the amazing thing about Best Score is the guy who won, Ludwig Göransson, is Childish Gambino's like right hand dude.
Oh,
That's
cool.
like his best friend.
Nice.
So it's pretty baller.
I didn't know that.
It also took me
Yeah.
a while to figure out that Donald Glover and Childish Gambino were the same person.
Oh, really?
Because I'm lame. Because I watched him on Community,
Yeah.
Donald Glover, and I just knew him as a actor or comedian.
Yeah.
I didn't know him as a musician. Who won for what won Best Picture?
Green Book.
Green Book.
Jeez, what the hell? I don't
Exactly.
even know what that is.
I didn't know that
Is it
was
like the
a
Green
thing.
Mile?
No.
No, but it has.
Kind of.
What?
Same time period, racial relations, I feel like, but it's
Didn't the Green
music.
Mile win Best Picture? Or it won something.
Yeah.
Somebody
I don't
won
know.
something out of the Green Mile.
What was it that Michael Clark Duncan did
Yeah.
he win?
Yeah.
And he died.
Oh,
I didn't
Rest
think
in
he would
peace.
ever die. He was like a titan.
oh, yeah.
I watched Remember the Titans today.
Oh. You start quoting.
wow.
That's a great movie.
Eh.
No? All right. No?
Eh.
Okay. Well, I mean,
I mean,
Denzel
it's-
Washington is handsome.
He is.
Oh, I forget that he's even in that.
It's
You're
just,
right.
I mean, as much as I love some sports, I just feel like a lot of the movies, especially football movies, sorry, football people, that are just like, oh, rough, tough team, crap happens, and then surprise, we're good. Or
It's the same formula yeah.
It doesn't matter the team. I
Like
mean,
that
Rudy.
or-
Well, a lot of any
remember
sport
those?
movie really
Friday
can
Night
follow.
Lights,
Yeah,
they're
We Are Marshall.
they're all the same.
Whatever.
yeah. Whatever, Marshall.
Whatever.
Which also has Denzel Washington. We Are Marshall.
Is he in that?
Yeah.
I thought it was that guy from Sweet Home Alabama in that.
I thought Denzel Washington was in it. What is the other
I
one?
mean, Matthew McConaughey's in that one.
Hell,
Oh, it's
I don't
Matthew
know.
McConaughey.
There's another one like that.
We
Denzel
love
Washington's in.
sports.
No, baseball. Yes.
Yeah.
We're almost there.
We could talk.
Yeah.
I mean, Major League's a great movie. Bull Durham, Field of Dreams,
yeah.
The Natural.
Yeah.
Man, I even like
The
Little Big League.
Sandlot.
You know, yeah,
Sandlot.
Little Big League. Do you know what that is?
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that movie because they had real Major League players in it.
I enjoy
like-
the shitty
A League
bench
of Their Own.
warmers.
A League of Their Own. Oh my God.
Oh, League of Their Own.
Tom, I know that it's about women, and I feel like I'm a sexist because I love Tom Hanks in it, but he's so good. I mean, they're all great. It's a great movie, but Tom Hanks is so friggin' funny.
He is.
The whole thing is just good.
And it's sad. The only thing people remember for that movie is there's no crying in baseball. That's Tom Hanks' line.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an excellent movie.
I love at the end, he makes her cry because she misses the cutoff man.
Mm-hmm.
And she does it again in the World Series, and he's trying not to make her cry, and he just shakes. Like he's like, come here, and he just shakes at her because he's trying not to make her cry. He's trying to be a nice guy, and he's like, you're still missing the cutoff man, and he just shakes. And that's how you know when it's time to get out of here, when I start quoting movies, because that must mean we're out of stuff to talk about.
Yes.
So that's been true forever. So
has been.
Well, you haven't been here forever.
Whatever.
You don't know. Go back to 2009. If you guys are going to be on the show, you have to go back to 2009, listen to every episode. So we can talk about it in depth.
Sounds
Flashback.
Because I'm very narcissistic. I want to hear how great you think I am.
Does that
luck
have
with
to be
that.
on air?
Man.
Yeah, is that on air?
Y'all both looked at each other in a similar fashion.
It happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm being ganged up on here.
No, it's even.
Is it?
Sure.
No.
It will be.
Yeah.
It will be.
As we move forward,
As we progress in our relationships.
we'll all have time to pick on each other.
In our threesome here.
Hey,
And I just mean 3 people. That's all I mean.
It's not gay if it's in a three-way.
Speaking of Lady Gaga.
Anyway, plugs.
For once in my life, I don't have a show to plug right now.
My plug is everyone should either purchase or listen to the new Dirty Echoes CD, Fake Town. My husband is the bass player in the band, and actually that's why Randy and I didn't watch the Oscars, is we were at their record release party in
It was
Austin.
so much fun.
So yeah, check out Fake Town. They are a Waco band, and they don't play cover songs. So
Yes, Dirty Echoes.
Dirty
Are they
Echoes.
on iTunes?
They're on iTunes,
digital?
Spotify. Find them on the Facebook.
All streaming.
And they have
music.
a really good music video on YouTube called TV Doctor.
Yes, and you
And
may
Melissa
see some
might be
familiar
in
in it. You may see famous faces.
And your husband's Bo in the band, right?
Yeah, I'm screwing the bass player. Don't tell anyone.
Hey.
All right, great. Well, how do you feel?
I'm feeling good. Feeling good.
Does this feel like something
Yeah.
you want to continue?
Yeah, let's keep this train a rolling.
I like it.
So, and then also I forgot, but we're gonna have some stuff that we do together, or like we'll go see a shitty movie.
Yeah,
we were talking about that. We used to do that a long time ago, where we'd see a movie that we knew was bad and just talk about it later. There was another one where we were going to assign each other something to watch or listen to,
movies or episodes to watch of TV
something
shows.
that we wouldn't normally watch. Was that it? There was some other. We were brainstorming at your office. I can't remember.
There are more awesome things to come. We'll just tease there.
Right. Because we can't remember what they are right now.
So I'm sure they're great.
But there will. Yeah, it'll be more. We'll be generating more content and not just bullshitting right here at the table.
Exactly. By the way, I felt something touch me between the legs, and I was like, guys, and it was Bingo.
Well, he is the perv.
He's
of the
a
group,
ladies' man.
Hashtag me too, Bingo.
Bingo's gonna get taken down. Anyway, thanks guys. Thanks Mel for your first time, and we'll see you back.
All right.
Next
see you
time.
Catch you later.
All right. Thanks guys for listening. As always, we'll catch you next time right here on the Weekly Yak. See ya.
That was awesome.
Thanks for listening to the Weekly Yak.
No, sir, I didn't like it.
Check us out at weeklyyak.com. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Lighthouses rule.
And subscribe to us on iTunes.
Keep looking up, because that's where it all is.